Good evening, lads and lasses. I got that one from Curtis Connor's editor. Today I present thee with a bit of a different format style of video. I guess for this one I want to show you a bit of behind the scenes, some of the struggles which I have to endure, and give you some of my thought processes when I edit and publish these videos, as well as to provide you with a bit of retrospective commentary, because obviously my ideas, opinions on my adventures change along the way when I have time to thought process them. So this time around I want to capture the perspectives which I've learned from, I've gained from, and what better place to start than the final video about Greece, where I can truly give a retrospective on the whole Greek adventure. Let's start with the lessons I've learned. You might remember while I was at Plato's Academy, going around telling philosophical mediocre jokes, you kind of have to have a high IQ to understand those. Off camera, I just sat on the ruins of Plato's Academy and I just did philosophy. I actually put my degree to use. I asked myself philosophical questions. What do I want my YouTube channel to be about? What do I want to gain from this? How do I want to see my YouTube channel grow? Etc. The philosophy is very applicable to my YouTube in this instance. So I always just had those questions in mind as I drifted from place to place, town to town, city to city, like a roaming philosopher. Shout out to Diogenes, the best philosopher. To this day, I still do struggle answering some of those questions, but I do have a better understanding now that I did not back then. Asking those questions did give me with a visionary direction of where I do want the channel to go, and the videos I've published to this day are just the foundation blocks for this epic tower of adventuring which we can build together. If there's one thing which I can conclude on at the very least, is that I produce these videos to show people that can't necessarily go to these locations, or for those people that are going to those locations and want something to be hyped about. So I implore you to watch this video to the end. Hopefully it will provide you with a better understanding of the passion I have to show you these places which I want to obviously show you and talk about. And at the end of this video, hopefully you will have some clarification what I'm all about. You can be the judge of whether you agree or not with my philosophy, or whether I'm true to my philosophy. That's up to you. But I do hope as well that by me showing you some of the mistakes I make along the way, you will also have a better understanding of this gig which I'm trying to show you for free. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's just get right into the video, and we shall start with the Trigonian Tower. Cheers. And here we have the very top of the towers that extends all the way out yonder that way. If you can see the white tower of Thessaloniki in the distance, right by the coast, that's where these Byzantine walls would have extended out to. Once upon a time, it marks the boundaries of the city and played a part defending against the Goths and the Slavs. But against the Turks, I guess you can see how well that turned out to be. Let's go this way. Oh bloody hell. I've been tourist trapped. Facing the southwest direction of the city. And here's an old crap hole. And over here we have the artillery room. You can see where the cannon would have been used. The gun port window over here to fire out of invaders coming from that direction. The above window is for ventilation purposes. I'm now at the excavated part of the tower. It goes very narrow here. When the Byzantium Empire first constructed this tower, it would have looked more like this before it was obviously renovated by the Ottomans after they occupied the land. The tower comes with its natural defences. You can have artillery fire from the cannons, as well as some holes on the side of the building to pour boiling water on your attackers. Wow, this place hosts many stunning views. Can you imagine being a soldier stationed at this very tower. See those cracks along the wall? And what looks like a sort of plastered material? Well, that was used to basically repair the structure as it had taken damage. Bonding compound compatible with the original mortar. And now we are taken to the very top end of the tower. The center of the Byzantine tower itself. Over there you can see the Hetapyragon right over there. Check it out, yonder hill. And there is a beautiful, gorgeous view of Thessaloniki. Oh, I started the video somewhere around that road. A few down there. See the highlands out in the distance. Wow, look at those highlands. They're very high. Oh, here you go. Here's where you would drop down the oil or the boiling water or cold water. Boiling water to deter attackers. Cold water to put out the fires on your doors. And there is the very east side of Thessaloniki that I wanted to show you. That's a very cool Orthodox church. And out yonder that way to the east side is the road to Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantium Empire. The Trigonian Tower is similar to the White Tower in that they are pretty impressive features of the Byzantine walls, but both towers are narrow and swarmed with people. I'm just filming and then suddenly, boom, daywalkers are standing and talking over me. It's navigating through a zombie horde. My first quest at the Parthenon really exposed my frustration towards tourists, but nothing I can do about that, except put on an accent to hide my national shame of being a British Anglo-Saxon tourist flüger. Anyway, I chose the Trigonian Tower because I thought it would be less touristy compared to its iconic White Tower sister. I just figure I'm here speedrunning with limited time, lest I get stranded. So rather than take you to generic tourist places where any normie vlogger can take you, bigging up the best of the best hotels, food, or shops in ranking order of the TripAdvisor list, I could better use my time to take you to real and raw places, to experience things I have more passion for, the obscure, hard to get to, and mystifying locations. Okay, lads and ladettes, I've enjoyed taking you around the whole of the Trigonian, though unfortunately the tourists are here now, so I think it's time to go. Until next time, join me tomorrow where I will, I'll be in Bulgaria. See you then. I believe in the Holy Spirit, love Jesus, loves you in peace. Hallelujah. Amen. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Urbex, otherwise known as exploring abandoned buildings. My channel features that content, but predominantly I'm making adventure vlogs. Sometimes they overlap. I love a bit of cheeky urbexing, earthquake-struck modern ruins. I'm not passing that opportunity in a foreign country. Sometimes I've made mistakes. I wish I had a better life for you guys, I'm so sorry. And the content can be a bit naff. It smells so rank. Dog shit. Or human shit. Ideally, when the channel grows and there is an appetite for more Urbex content, then logically it makes sense to make a second channel so as not to saturate the viewer base. But until then, Urbexing will stay on this channel. So this is a bit of a story time, but I thought I'd tell you guys along the way. I had this nightmare, this really horrible nightmare that I had been mugged. And I was just walking down some street, you know, adventuring, filming, doing what I need on the camera, and then this next roadman comes right up to me. You know, roadman is from London. Essentially like the evolved status of a chav. He sounded like, "Oi bruv, this is a mugging, innit? Give us your money, yeah?" Man sounded like some next waste man. I swear to God. And he pulls out this huge knife. And I'm there and I'm thinking, oh man, like I'm trying to build a career out of all the materials I basically have here. I mean, my passport I need to get home, my phone, my camera. So I'm pondering in my dream, like, should I actually just end up running. I might just do a runner and scream and find some nearest corner shop that will just harbour me and take me in. So I just woke up in my hostel thinking, oh bollocks, I guess I've just been robbed. So I'm gonna have to try and contact the British embassy of some sorts to get me home somehow. So after I wake up on the hostel bed, I grab my phone and I start searching for help. Then I think to myself, hang on a second, how come he didn't take my phone? And then it hits me again. Oh, that was all just a nightmare. What a relief. Apologise if it wasn't funny or that entertaining, but it's pretty entertaining to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and share it anyway. That dream is now history. And speaking of history, it's absolutely no secret I love it. It might seem dry initially, and your history teacher probably taught it a bit shit. However, the context as to the who, the what, the why, the how is the only way to appreciate and understand the locations I've taken you to. To make this entertaining, I present the history in quick bullet points, while my boots are on the ground, of the actual site where the history takes place. My biggest challenge yet was the adventure in Thermopylae, taking on the responsibility to present the history as accurate and non-biased as can be. When we look at the story of 300 Spartans and friends, there is a lot of Hollywood fantasy, great man theory, toxicity, and nationalist pride to dispel.
I am more white than you. You look gypsy. I am blonde hair.
Someone fucked your mother that is your kid, but your father is not.
The best I can do is my best, and I occasionally make mistakes because it's hard to do research while you're always on the move without Wi-Fi.
We'll be happy to bring you up on current events just as soon as our internet is back.
At least I can make up for that by patching in addendums during the video editing. That way, you get a visualization of the site, as well as a fair and curious narrative to reach your own judgment. Well, my journey here in Greece is now soon coming to an end, as I take the next bus over to a new adventure in Bulgaria. I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about the concept of the ideal Greek man, or the most masculine of men. Because I've seen many of the Greek marble, bronze or clay sculptures of man and how the Greeks would perceive man. I mean, the ideal Greek man is largely sourced from Homeric stories and that sort of ethos, right? It's the idea of Hercules, or Heracles as he's called, or Achilles, and they're supposed to be portrayed as, you know, big, strong, powerful men. You know, they're pretty lean, they're muscular, perfect sort of jawline and facial features. And on the other hand of the ethos, you also have, you know, Odysseus. The Odysseus ethos being that, you know, man can also be cunning and have a good wisdom and a sharp mind and fast wit as well. Sure, I think there's a lot of cool things from classic Greek literature about the conception of masculinity and the heroics of certain individuals. However, I feel that today most of the romantic aspects about these ideas are taken out of proportion to very exaggerated consequences. Pop culture especially has done this many times because pop culture is in love with the sort of Greek idea of what a man is. And I think because of that, because of the over-exaggeration and the obsession to be the perfect Greek man, allowed toxicity and misconceptions to misconstrued and creep into the concept of man. I mean, indeed, it's pretty true that toxic masculinity has always been a thing. Spartan civilization, for instance, if you show any sign of weakness, you were usually killed or put into extreme humiliation and shame that you'd be encouraged to game over yourself. Another example of toxic masculinity that we have these days now is, for instance, the act of crying. If you're a man and you cry, then it's shown as a symbol of weakness or cowardice. However, I don't think that's necessarily true or the case. A Greek man who cries is more of a sign of passion. To me, the idea of a Greek man is a man of passion. You know, a man who can cry, a man who isn't afraid to show what he's worth. And I think it goes beyond just strength or great wisdom or conquering various different kingdoms as Alexander the Great did. To be a Greek man can come in the most simplest form as to make a nice piece of pottery. To be a Greek man can come in the most simplest forms as climbing part way up Mount Olympus. To be a Greek man is to go out and embrace adventure as well. to talk about these things, to go to places that people don't usually go to talk about history and culture, you know, to do what they want to do, right? That is the spirit of rejuvenation. It's to follow your passions and your dreams. I think that's what the whole celebration is about after the Greeks liberated themselves from the Axis occupation. I think to me, that's what the whole idea of being a Greek man is all about. So follow your dreams, follow your passion, even if no one really cares or no one's really gonna follow you that much. I mean, you're not in it for the followers, right? You're in it to document something, and you're documenting this thing because you love it at the end of the day, and you don't necessarily have to care what other people think after. And I think that's very much what I'm doing now. So I'm glad I came to Greece. I'm glad I found a bit of myself here in Greece. And I very much love doing this and making these sorts of videos, and I'm gonna continue more. So join me for the next adventure where I go to Bulgaria, and then after that we're gonna hit Romania. Cheers, thank you. And I also very much believe in the principle that behind every great man there is a great woman. And it's kind of unfortunate as I travel around, especially in Greece, to find that many women aren't so present in history. There's always women who are present in history. I think the sad case is that history often doesn't show them so much, and it's only very recently that we've turned away from the ideology of teaching history in the strong man-esque portrayal. And now we're moving on, and we're beginning to find much more women playing leading roles, and I like that. For example, Justinian the Great would have been no one. He wouldn't have made it anywhere had he not been married to Theodora. Empress Theodora herself was the one who gave Justinian the balls to return back to Constantinople after the riots and take charge once again. I'm very sad that lots of women's accounts have been lost to history. I do want to help change that and contribute to a woman's perspective as well. Along my journey, I met a woman just outside the rotunda named Natalia. And by the way, if you're watching this, Natalia, hello. She actually works as a civil engineer. And Natalia went off to university in America to study engineering. And then she would return to Greece. And she told me that upon her return to Greece, people were asking, what are you doing back here? In America, women have way more opportunity and their voices are more heard. Whereas in Greece, you have way more of a disadvantage. Even her professors in university were telling her that. But Natalia, she made a name for herself. She kept at it, even though she had a disadvantage. She kept on working and she kept on struggling. And eventually, she even got to work for the Greek government in civil engineering. She's doing exactly what she wanted to do. And it's way harder to make a name for yourself out here as a woman. Most of the profession is dominated by men here in this part of the world. So I think that's a big congratulations to Natalia. Not only that, but the reason why I bring her up is because she actually corrected me. When I was giving a history presentation outside the rotunda, I had made an error and she came up to me and she made a correction for me. So Natalia, I thank you. Thank you so much for telling me, because honestly, I'd sooner someone tell me or interrupt me as I'm making a video to say that I'm wrong and I should be teaching the right thing, because that's what I want to do. I want to bring you guys the right thing. That is my passion. And it's her passion to do civil engineering, as well as to correct me, because she's passionate about her country, she's very proud about Greece, and I'm very proud to be doing this thing too. So I couldn't be able to deliver this sort of video or the previous videos without even a woman in my life like Natalia. So thank you, Natalia, and Greece should be thanking you too. Big up, Natalia, well done, good on you. And once again, thank you very much for being present there at the time to help me, correct me, and of course educate me, and helping me learn more along the way. Thank you. And to the British Prime Minister, the Greek people send their regards. You Malaka.